Hi, welcome to the latest episode of From the Horse's Mouth. Today I have got Callum from Morgan Branding, a local company based in Culture, lives in Culture as well. He's a friend of mine. It was a choice today of either do this or go and have a game of golf. So we decided to do this for you lovely viewers.
And the sun is shining outside
And
now.
the sun is shining now, mate, isn't it? Yeah, so well, Callum, Morgan Branding, as you may pick out from the name, is a marketing agency. They help small to large businesses with their branding, their websites, photography, brochure, the whole thing, and even help with business planning going forward and how they can do it. But I'm going to let Morgan, I'm going to let Callum explain to you where this all started, what it's doing now, and what it could potentially do for you guys, because he's certainly helping a lot of small and large independent businesses in and around the area. So, over here, mate. I'm going to pass it over to you now and dump you in the
in the hot seat.
In the hot
Well,
seat.
can we not go back to golf and how bad I am at that? That would that's
No.
So yeah, Morgan Branding. As we talk now, what are we? 30th of April, 2021. We've been going 4 years. It was our 4th birthday this week. I think 27th of April, 2017 was when the company officially registered. Before that, I worked with my dad at Morgan Williams. So a few people still get me confused on that, and whether I'm working at Morgan Williams or Morgan Branding, it's hard for them to understand sometimes. Maybe I should have made the names a little bit different to make that a little bit easier. But Morgan Branding are a marketing agency, but Morgan Williams prior to that was commercial property. So I'd worked with Dad 3 years before I started Morgan Branding. So what's that? 2014. Finished university, was doing maths, was going to go off into the big city, into London, and work in banking and finance, and hopefully earn a load of money there. That was my goal. But yeah, that was the plan. And then come back up north and be able to afford a house probably that I couldn't afford in London. But did 6 months with my dad, and his business, you know, is a really good business. We would put it in the medium-sized business range, and just really enjoyed it. You know, he's been going 35 years, so you can imagine we've got walls of files everywhere and paper and all sorts that we were trying to get electronic. You know, we have systems that you guys will have similar in Resi Property now with that link your properties to Rightmove and websites and social media. So it was systems improving, sorting the website out. It was getting on Rightmove. In fact, 7 years ago, commercial property wasn't really on Rightmove, so it was getting on Rightmove, and now that's as big a part of our business as you guys as Resi agents with Rightmove. It was doing bits and bobs like this. Now, at the time, I probably didn't know that as marketing. I just did it. It was what was needed to be done in the business to sell more. And over time, that was where I kind of focused in on a little bit more, did a bit more. And then a few of his pals really were coming to me going, "Can you do what you've done for your dad for me?" And I was like, well, I don't really know what I've done for my dad. I just work hard and, you know, deal with what comes in front of me. But we did start boiling that down to a little bit of websites, graphically improving them across social media. So that could be photos, videos, virtual tours. I got a Matterport virtual tour camera that we were using. First employer was Ben Stokes. So I think you've come across with property photography. And what we were doing was kind of selling that service into other places. So taking pictures, videos, that kind of thing. That was the first step that we did in 2017. That grew a bit more into graphic design, websites, and generally solving problems at that time. You know, somebody give me a problem, I'd go 500 quid and I can fix that problem. We can build your website. We'll do this, we'll do that. Since then, it's grown, meandered, changed. You know, we still do a chunk of that. We still do photos for people. We still do graphic design. We still do websites, but it has the line that we use at the minute is helping your business to grow. That's what we focus in on. That's what we say we do. But that ranges from small businesses, startups, pubs. We work with Culture Farms in Culture. We work with Partridge Lakes. We've worked with Dress Studio. We've worked with, this is bad when I forget, Havana's when they were going. We're currently working with the Dayton. We're working with Lee Golf Club. We're working with, I helped at the Glazebury Cricket Club. We've helped at the schools. We've done Newchurch Primary School, Glazebury Primary School. You know, so we've helped lots of businesses within the village. We've also helped lots of businesses that are starting up within the village, or people that from the village starting a little business and it's online or whatever. Or obviously people that live within the village and work elsewhere and work at bigger companies and dragging them out. So we don't have. It's funny because we could work anywhere in the country, and we do. We've got people, Newcastle, London, Wales. We've got all over, but a big proportion is still massively local and come from connections, culture, memories, and chat, local businesses, and it's just people going, I've got this problem, or referrals and recommendations. Obviously, if you work with 2 people, they tell 5 people, and that kind of grows from there. And it's covering, I think the basics really, especially on the small business thing, is helping you to get going. You've got a little idea, you want to do something, or you've been trading for a while. The Culture Farms may be a good example of this, and they want to refresh their website. They want to have the menus online. They want to be able to book through the website. Obviously now with apps, we don't do their app, but you go to your app, you order your food and do all that kind of thing. So it could be businesses that are established that just need to tidy up their online presence, or somebody starting a new business and they need a logo and a website. That would be our bread and butter on the smaller end. On the bigger end, it kind of comes into more planning, strategy, as you mentioned, business planning, marketing, a bit of advice, what should we be doing? But to be honest, we still pass that down to our smaller businesses. What should we be looking at? What should we be helping with? On the bigger businesses, they get us to do it and pay us. On the smaller businesses, I'm going, this is what you should be doing. Now, some of them take that advice on board. Some of them want us to do it, but I go, you can't afford to pay us to do that right now. You make £0 or £50 a week or £100 a week. You can't pay me £100 to look at something. Go and do it yourself. Learn. They go, oh, so much stuff. And I go, yeah, but I've learned it. I've done it myself. And that's how I know it. So that is a lot of the small business stuff. My WhatsApp, in fact, I should probably minimize it on the other screen because it will distract me, is full of, my girlfriend goes, how many messages do you get a day? But it is literally, we're 11 o'clock now. I've already had 20 messages there on WhatsApp from different people. In general, it's talking business, it's chatting. My girlfriend has no worries of me going off with another girl. It's all people asking me, what should they do with a website? It's not very interesting. But that's what I love doing. I love helping grow a small business, get it going. You've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. People listening to this, it's hard. People look and go, oh, business owner there, driving a nice fancy car, lives in a nice house, and they're sat working a 9-to-5 job and in the pub at 5:30 every day. And I go, yeah, but my phone doesn't stop. It starts ringing at about 7:30 and stops at maybe 10 o'clock. But I enjoy that. So that's not my pals will be sat in the pub and the phone rings at 6. Oh, I'm not answering that. Whereas it's different, I think, when it's your own. If I approach you in the pub and talk about property, I know you'll talk to me because you're passionate about it, you enjoy it. You want a pint at the same time, but you can still do both. Whereas if you are somebody that hates your job, the last thing you ever want to do is get to the pub and chat about your job.
I've played poker with you at about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning at a location before COVID, by the way, all of this. And I've seen you putting posts online for your business and for your clients at about 1 o'clock in the morning. I remember you put a post on Culture, Memories and Chat, and I remember thinking to myself, wow. Not that it was the time. I was thinking, wait, we're a bit pissed here.
Yeah, we're playing poker.
Well, you did. You actually pulled away from the poker game, sorted something out on your laptop, your phone or whatever, and then on there. So that for me, I just thought, wow, showing some dedication and
it's not a chore though. To me, is like, and I think this is something that I ram home to the guys that we work with, is there's now, it's a bit fancy a little bit to own your own business, and everyone thinks they want to own their own business. But a lot of my mates, I talk out of it. I go, you don't want your own business. You really don't. You look at me and go, bloody hell, you work hard. I don't think I work hard because I enjoy it. It's not like, it's just a thing that I enjoy doing. It might be like somebody enjoys sitting watching Netflix or watching TV or playing golf. I love playing golf as well. I can have both. But also, if you play with me on the golf course, my phone's probably out quite a bit. And I'm like, Callum, put your phone down, relax. And I'm like, but I'm not relaxed if I don't know exactly what's going on and what, and replying to people and dealing with people. So it's the thing that I enjoy doing. And we have certainly seen a lot of business owners, or we've worked with people, and I think I can tell within 3 minutes ago, you're not going to work hard enough. You want it. You want to have the business, but you don't want to put the work in and go and get a job. It's not the worst thing in the world to have a job, but I do think there's this, it's dangerous at the minute in the way that everyone wants to have their own business and thinks that they can set up, maybe with one of these companies that, like the what's it called, like Avon type companies now that
yeah.
multi-level marketing schemes, be your own boss,
It's
or
like makeup. All your best mates are trying to sell you facial
makeup or whatever. And
yeah,
the thing is, I love having my own business. I love talking business. I love dealing with business.
Yeah.
So I never want to then discourage people away from it. But I'm like, that's a job. That's not having your own business.
Yeah.
Do you know, if I don't want to work for the rest this afternoon, I can do that. We could go play golf if I want to. I choose not to a lot of the time because I actually really want my business to work. And I know that if I really want my business to work, I can't play golf every day. Do you know? But having my own business gives me the freedom to make them choices.
Yeah.
But also I know, you know, looking at people like you that have been there, done that, that can play golf a bit more. I'm 30. I'm at a different time that I've got to, you now probably would, the Dave of 30 wouldn't have probably played golf as much as I do. You'd have been grafting is what I'm saying though, is to say that if you're starting your business out, you've got to graft. It's like, you know, 70, 80, 90 hours a week, but also not procrastinating graft. As you say, I would be posting on Culture Members in chat. I wouldn't just be scrolling Facebook. I would have been clear on my emails. I would have been getting back to people. I would have been learning, or often, you know, sitting playing poker potentially. I would have had my headphone in, chatting to everyone and being involved in the conversation. But I might have a podcast in my ear that's telling me about business. Now, I'm not fully listening to that podcast, but I'm listening enough to go, oh, what did he chat about there? SEO, or what did he chat about there? Social media marketing. Can I listen to that and can, because I can't read. So I'm dyslexic, can't read, not very good at spelling, good at numbers, not very good at spelling. So I would listen to podcasts because I'm not going to sit and read a book or read a business book. It's not my bag, but I'll listen to podcasts or chat to people or speak to people like you. Do you know, when we're playing poker, do you know that, because you'll have been there, is if I can move the topic onto how have you done what you've done and how can I learn from that, I'll move it to there because that's what I'm interested in. So I think that's what gives me my buzz. And as a business, I hope we've taken that forward, and we've now got, I keep losing track of numbers, I think it's 11 staff now. We work with a lot of freelancers as well. And I hope that we pass that on, or I pass that on to every member of staff that we've got, is that our business is growing your business. We want to be passionate. We want you to grow. Not always the best thing for us. You know, we might give you a piece of advice that doesn't make us the most amount of money, or a solution that costs us money in the long run. But I think that, you know, same opinion as you. I know you got down the, you know, doing the right thing is always the right thing. You know, giving the right advice is always the right advice, whether it makes me money or not. It'll come back, you know, whether in some point it will, a referral or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's, I probably worry there because I know, especially recently with lockdown, a lot of people starting businesses. They might make 5 or 10 grand. Of which, out of 5 grand, let's say 2 grand is profit. And they've worked 500 hours. And I go, that's £4 an hour. You may as well have gone and worked in Mackey's. So it's not. Whereas I would go, if you look at my hourly rate with Morgan Branding, it's probably £1.50 an hour. But I'm not bothered because there's a bigger picture than the hourly rate. But if you're doing it, I think maybe that's the nail on the head, is that a lot of people start a business to make money. And I go, you ain't going to make any money. And they go, what do you mean you're not going to make any money? I go, well, most businesses fail. So that's, first of all, I think it's 50% of businesses, is it, within 3 or 4 years? Most will fail and you'll lose money. So that's a starting point. And then in that 50%, a lot of them won't make a great hourly wage for the owner, and some will make money, but it's more a passion than a thing. I think it is difficult. It's so difficult that everyone thinks it's easy. Yet the people I speak to that own businesses all day, every day, probably peck me to go, this isn't easy. It's hard work, but the people that enjoy it. It's a weird, like, you know, I couldn't imagine anything worse than going.
I've got grey hair.
I couldn't imagine anything worse than going shopping on a Saturday. Do you know, it doesn't like, and to me, working on a Saturday afternoon is enjoyable. To most other people in the normal world, they want to go shopping, they want to go to the football, they want to do whatever. And I'm like, that not necessarily me.
But what would so, you know, to bring this back in, we obviously talked about these small businesses, the startups, this, that, and the other. What is it that you guys? So how can I put this now properly? So let's say I'm a small business. I'm coming up to you. I've got this idea, because I know you love the initial stage. Before you've built any bad habits, let's just have a chat now where it's an idea that happened in the shower or the garage or whatever it is. I come to you and I say, look, Callum, I've got this idea. I want to I want to start this company. I need to get it out there. What would you recommend? Now, I know this is going to be industry specific to what you said, but I'm talking about your
well, it is and it isn't, but because there's some things that just work in general. The first thing that I always say at this point, because this still happens to me now, and people think I'm probably getting a bit arsey in my response to this, because I've had this thing a million times, and it's their idea, and they think it's the best idea they've ever come up with. Yeah. Is I'll get a message, Callum, I've got this idea. Can't tell you the idea yet. I go, okay, but I want you to help. It's like, I can't help without knowing what you're going to do, because you just mentioned their target audience. You know, who am I marketing to? What are you selling? Well, I need you to sign an NDA. And an NDA, for anyone that don't, a non-disclosure agreement. I go, first of all, I'm not going to sign it. Second of all, if I did sign it, I wouldn't believe it anyway. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. If you want me to help, you need to be honest and open with me and tell me what's going on. I am not interested in your idea. You've had one idea today. I have 6 by the time I've walked to my car. Do you know that I think I've come up with the next genius idea? My brother in the office takes them. Cheese crate was one of my best ideas. Cheese through the letterbox. Absolute genius. I was like, I've got it. I've got the box. I had to cut the cheese perfectly. Cheese delivery through the letterbox. Genius. Best idea yet. Still not done it. But the idea, the initial thing is worth absolutely zero. Do you know, Facebook, Airbnb, Twitter, do you know, all of these platforms often weren't the first.
Yeah.
Often even weren't the best. Do you know, MySpace was here before Facebook. MySpace worth £0, Facebook worth
billions,
trillions, whatever. So the idea is worth diddly squat. The person behind the idea, or the company behind the idea, and the graft and the effort and the execution is where all the value is in. Yeah. So when somebody comes to me first off with an idea and all this, first of all, is understanding that your idea and your little business is worth nothing. I think that's always my first bit of advice. Yeah. And it's helpful before you've had that idea to understand that, because if you move away from that being valuable, you can then, maybe it's then a thing to back yourself a bit more, to go, if this business is successful, it's because of you, not because of the idea.
Yeah.
So if you're doing well, and the best businesses that we work with are doing well with doing everything crap, really, just the business owner is really good at doing what they're doing and they're selling, and we can come in and help them. So if you've got an idea, the first thing is to chat about that. Don't feel scared. Now, there is an argument that if you're developing a product and you need to patent it and protect it, that don't go telling everyone. Yeah. But if you're going for trusted advice, you should be able to trust that advice that can do it. And if somebody steals your idea and did it better than you, it's because they did it better than you. Yeah. They had the same idea. Why have you let them do it better than you? Don't shout at them for nicking your idea. Shout at yourself for not doing it better than them effectively. So trust people, take advice, and talk to people. Like I said to you, I chat to you in the pub and ask you how you've done X, Y, and Z. It's because I'm learning and want to know what's going on. So the first step would be to come to us, talk to us, tell us your idea. Then I will give you my advice on what I think you should do.
Yeah.
Also, you don't have to do that. That's what I think. You might think I'm an idiot. I probably am sometimes. Is sap this information from different places and do you and grow it. So if you come to me, let's pick at the minute, I'm looking at it, I put in an offer on a company to take this off somebody the other week for a candle company.
Yeah.
Why did a few of my pals said, why would you buy a candle company? It's only really basic level and didn't have much to it. Why would I buy a candle company? You can do everything that they've done. I go, to get to the stage that they're at now, it's taken 9 months and a lot of time. If I can pay some money to skip that process, I'm happy, because my time to me is worth more than the figure that I was going to give to them.
Yeah.
They then wanted a much higher figure, and we were way apart. And I just said, well, we're on a different plane here. You haven't got anything valuable. All that I'm doing is trying to pay for you to tell me all your lessons, and I'll give you an on-cut of future sales, because they didn't have any value in the business. It's back to this. They were 9 months old, hadn't really made any money. The idea, the stuff was no different to anyone else. Yeah. And I'm going, bloody hell, sell me the company, because I'm going to make you a load of money, because I was going to give them an on-cut of sales. I was like, this is the best person ever to sell your company to, with me being big-headed. I wouldn't say that to them.
Well, you know, Fordham and Mason started off selling candles.
Oh, good. So
used candles as well, actually.
And you've got Yankee, the mega companies, and there's loads of people selling candles at the minute. Now, that doesn't mean I would never then give the advice, there's loads of people doing it, don't do it. I just go, what are you going to do different? I think Richard Branson's book once said that there's two ways to start a business. You either come up with a new idea or you take somebody else's idea and do it better. 99% of businesses are take somebody else's idea and do it better. Or if you don't want to grow and be massive, just do it the same and do it okay and live with it. But my thing would be to do it better. So if I'm going to have a candle company, what am I going to do better? Well, hopefully I'm going to get the production a bit better. We're going to be, I'm not that bothered about candles, so I'm not going to be, too emotionally attached to it. I'm just going to sell candles. I'm going to go after the place. So I might still run a candle business here, and hopefully I would show you that, practice what I preach, but we use that as an example at the minute.
Yeah.
You come to me with a candle business and go, right, where are you at? Have you tested your product yet? Do you know what you're selling? Do you know where you're doing it? Are you getting it from China? Are you making it yourself? Where are you at?
Yeah.
So that probably is maybe a first step before you come to somebody like us, is to learn your product, understand your product. When somebody walks into me and go, I've got a product, I know what I'm selling, I've sold a few to my mates, but I haven't got a logo or whatever, they say it's good, I'm ready to go. I'm like, oh, I'm excited. When it's like the product's still in China, or I've got one jar, or I've seen a pal doing candles and I want to do it, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? So they've got that product. Then what we might do, but we don't have to do it if they've already done this or gone on Fiverr or a mate's done it, is we might start with a logo and their brand and work out how does their product look on the shelf. What, if you're doing a candle, what are you putting it in? Is it a long, thin one? Is it a flat one? Is it in a glass jar, in a round jar? What's going on? The difficult thing is really the advice that we start to give at this level. If you're a bigger company, you'd be paying thousands. So you've got to understand the level of how much we can help with, as opposed to when you're starting out and you might have no budget, what you've got to do yourself. So come to us for advice and then you run with it and run with it. So we might do your logo at that point. 100 quid, couple of hundred.
Advice, what does that cost for the initial?
No, nothing really. It's like, it's so difficult. Is ideally we charge for it, but they haven't got any money to pay for it. Do you know, in reality? So I think I'm pretty good, and I will ask often, what's your budget? What do you want to spend? And people, again, with the business, I don't want to tell you that because Callum will just charge me what I've got. And I go, well, no, I need to know if you're talking $1,000 or you're talking 100 grand, because we work with businesses that pay us £10,000 a month, and we work with businesses that pay us £10 a month. I need to know, are you on that scale, or do you want to spend £1 million a month? And we're probably not the right fit for you. Do you know? I'm trying to figure that out. Do you know? At what level? Do you know? I just think, do you know, when you go to a hotel in a city, you know what ish your budget is. Are you spending 80 quid a night or 500 quid a night or £1,000 a night? You've got to have a feel. And I want that figure to give you the best advice or the best, all around. So we'd work out what your budget is. If you're already established, I'm going to know this anyway, because I can see your website, see where you're at. At that point, you probably pay for it, because I go, we're going to sit and do a process here that might take 2 or 3 months, and I'll charge for this. It won't be it won't be massive anyway, because I'm trying to get the job. But on the startup level, the advice probably comes for free, but I'm expecting a bit back off you. So if I say, go and do this, go and set up MailChimp to send emails, go and order some product from China, I also, almost like a job interview, I suppose, want to see some progress back, that you're actually real, because there's no point in me helping if you're, because it's taking time away from other people that would do it as well. So we'd have this chat, we'd give some advice, usually half an hour on the phone or in a pub or wherever. But as you said, it's the bit I enjoy. So I quite like helping at this stage. We get we get a label, we get a product. Okay, now, when you're building that out, who are you selling that to? It's the first question. And everyone always goes, everyone. Selling to everyone.
No, you're not.
Well, I don't buy candles, so you ain't selling to me. Do you know? Yeah, but you've got them in your house. Yeah, but I didn't buy them. Your girlfriend bought them. Yeah, but I didn't buy them. Are you still selling to my girlfriend? You're not selling to me.
Pointless sending me an advert, because I'm not going to pick it up.
I'm not interested. Waste of money. Do you know? Whatever. And you will have this argument for 10 minutes about it being in your house. Go, my girlfriend bought it. So your target audience is my girlfriend, not me. So this candle doesn't need to appeal for me. You could make a football changing room smelling candle of whatever that thing is that all blokes always put on the muscles. And what's that smell? What was that smell that put
and stuff like that?
Deep heat, that smell.
Deep
Put that in.
Is what it smells of.
Deep heat and sweat.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying any candles, so you could make the nicest. I go, reminisce about football changing rooms, and that's when I'm not going to buy it still. So appeal to my girlfriend. All right, what is she interested in? What age range is she? Do you know? First of all, she's a girl. Do you know the difficulty with marketing? And this is a fine line that we're treading right now in this world that we have to be careful. But we work with house builders. So a good example with house builders is we can't just put a white man and a woman sat on a sofa with 2.5 kids and a dog, because that isn't a normal family anymore. No, that might be the average family, but it's not normal, because I know from the data that we've got men and men, women and women, single women, men, Asian, English, black, white, everything. It's the complete mix. So if you just then put a man and a woman in the 30s with 2.5 kids and a dog sat on a sofa, well, that's missing 80% of the market. Yeah. However, you need to know that as a company. Yeah. And you need to understand that, for example, we were dealing with a chap who was getting into hypnotherapy and counseling and stuff like that. Yeah. He was an Asian male Muslim business owner. Yeah. We had a long discussion through with him about target audience, how I can deal with everyone. I said, you've got a really good demographic to go after there. I said, in general, males in general, whether being Muslim or not, don't talk about problems. Yeah. My Muslim friends, probably even more so, don't talk about problems. They have to still be the head of the household. They've got to take that responsibility. They won't talk to each other. If I've dug with any of my mates previously, it takes a bit of eking out. Yeah. That is a really good audience to go after for counselling. Yeah. You're already in the demographic. I said, why don't you just go after them? Why, do you know, you can go to the mosque, you can go do... And he went, I'd never really thought about that. But he hadn't thought about his target audience. And his target audience there was very specific to be Asian Muslim males between the age of 30 and 60. Yeah. And he knows where they are. They're at the mosque, and he can do talks at the mosque and then get business from the mosque. I go, done. Do you know, not done. It's not as easy as that.
No, but you've got a great idea, and you've got something to get you
to go at. So I've given a very specific example there, but he started out by saying, I can work with everyone. Yeah. I was like, really, is a 50-year-old woman going to come and chat to you as a 50-year-old bloke, do you know, for counselling? I don't think so. I think that women want to talk to, do you know, so in marketing, although, and I'm very careful when I talk about demographics, because marketing, we have problems that if you market to demographics, that's where you can bring in racism and stereotypes and issues. But if you think about your target audience and what they're interested in and talk to them in a correct way, I think as marketeers, we can move away from some of the issues and being sensitive to situations. You know, maybe, I don't know, going back to Muslims here, because it's Ramadan at the minute, is you've got to be sensitive that if I was advertising a product, well, if I've got a mainly Muslim audience, they ain't going to be ordering food in the daytime at the minute because it's Ramadan. It's not appropriate. It's not right. And the companies that we work with, especially on the bigger end, should be sensitive to this. And the issue is, especially around here in the northwest of England, it's a mainly white middle class audience working, and the diversity that we then need to bring into marketing will help to stop the poo-poos of people making mistakes in their stuff. But what I'm coming back to here is know your audience. Who are you selling to? What are they interested in? Where are they hanging out? What's important to them? Yeah. What do you know? What things are important to them? And then sell to them. And if you don't know that, you can't even start. And I say this is to go, everyone always says everyone. Yeah. And it's not true. It's just never true. You're not selling to everyone. You will sell to a subset of people. And once you know that, and you know, then you can start working out where are they. Yeah. So that would always be our first.
The here in the background. Someone's
dogs going. So that's always the first conversation: is who, what are you selling to? Yeah. Because if that's, let's go back to the candle example. If you were then saying I'm aiming at 18 to 40-year-olds for candles, yeah, you then might need to think about price. Yes. Because your price is going to be different to if you're aiming to maybe 40 to 60-year-olds. Because I can tell you, for one, my mum will spend more on a candle than my girlfriend. Yeah. So all these things link back into who is your target customer.
Yeah.
And what I think works with that, and a lot of people said this to me at the start, and I was like, oh, everyone, I said the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you can have a really clear picture in your head of a person, maybe a person in your life, do you know, I could say you, because you've had multiple businesses over time that I've known, you've done different things. I go, you are my target audience. Yeah. And if I can picture you in my head, I go, what kind of car is he going to drive? Where's he going to live? Is he going to be at the golf club or at the football club or the rugby club? Would you know, where are you going to be? And then how can I market to you? Are you going to be on, we mentioned culture members and chat? Yeah. Probably not as much as I would be on culture members and chat. So it's learning these things. And then if your audience is 18 to 30, you know, you might be looking at Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram. If your audience is a bit older, you might still be towards Facebook. You might be towards, you know, a lot of things that have moved away now is traditional methods of marketing and like leafleting somebody's house or knocking on the door. Do you know, if my target audience is over 65, it might be right to knock on the door. Do you know?
Or certainly send them a leaflet because they might actually read it, pick it up. They're not going to be online, are they?
I tell you the one that we've done, and we've done this for clients, and again, it's about thinking about who you target. So when we were going after older people, without being too, you know, me getting into stereotypes, but if you're going after a demographic that would still appreciate traditional media more than somebody like myself, we've sent letters, handwritten letters with your address handwritten on the front, with ink, proper ink, pen on the front, with then maybe a printed letter or leaflet inside, signed. Everyone opened the envelope first off because it was handwritten. You get a handwritten envelope through your door. You look, oh, what's this? Yeah. So I've got over that first hurdle of have they seen it? Have they engaged with it? Have they done it? Now, the issue with marketing is we've already discussed there through 10, 15 options. I could stand with a sandwich board in the middle of, on the roundabout outside the old NatWest in Culture, outside the co-op for you, with a courtyard property sandwich board on. Would it work?
Hey, I would pay for you to do that, actually.
It would work. Do you know, it would, and people say to me, oh, should I do this? Most marketing works. Yeah. It's just what is your best return on your investment for money and time? Yeah. Do you know what works best? You do the lowest hanging fruit first. Yeah. We often say do one social really well, then 4 badly. Everyone goes, right, I need to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter. And we just go, just do one really well. Yeah. As a startup businesses, if you're one of our 50 million turnover businesses, I go, one really well now isn't an excuse. You probably need to be doing 2 or 3. Yeah. But as a startup business, do one really well. And where do you hang out? Maybe not where do you hang out? Where do your customers hang out? And does that map where you hang out? So if your customer's on TikTok, and I'm going to talk about TikTok now in April 2021, because honestly, for almost any business that we're working with at the minute, we're talking about TikTok. Yeah. I've not talked about
starting to do our own actually now for the property talk. A few different bits and bobs.
I've not talked about a platform ever in 4 years the way I'm talking about TikTok to clients, and I reserve the right to change my mind in 6 months' time because this is how quickly our world moves.
But how does it feel today? Is it the right decision today? Yeah. Is there a better option today? Yeah. Right. Let's work. We can always change our mind.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, April 2021, if you have a business,
are you dropping now? Is this it? Is this
any business? You need to be looking at TikTok. That's my advice. And I always say, do as I say, not as we do, but we've also practiced this. So if you look at our TikTok, we've been going 2 months. Yeah. We've got 1,300 followers. We've had some videos with 20,000 views. We have had nothing like that in 4 years across. We've also had 4 job quotes. One was a £4,000 website. Do you know? So we're not that. In general, social for us isn't a big thing. It is because people have got to know about us, but our work comes from word of mouth. It comes from, we've done a good job for somebody, they tell somebody else. That's where our work comes from. That's where a lot of businesses' work come from. Yeah. But if you are doing, well, I'm saying anything, TikTok. So we mentioned Dan Olbrook before that we know. His wife rang me the other day and was like, his daughter's was doing some videos on Instagram, and this is obviously non-business related, but it is because they want to get money out of influencing and doing stuff. Yeah. And I said to her, TikTok, we're just doing it TikTok. She texted me, we texted last night, she put one video up and it's had 21,000 views already.
Wow.
And she went, "You're right." And I went, "I know I'm right. I'm always right." No, I'm not to say I'm right, but and I'm gonna get. We were laughing because 2 years ago, I was messaging a friend, his mum, who's an influencer.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to her mum. I know mum quite well, and just said she needs to be looking at TikTok. Like, this was 2 years ago. Now I've not banged this drum. The last 2 months, I'm banging it with our businesses.
Yeah.
2 years ago, to influencers who are a bit more ahead of the curve and a bit more, you know, I wouldn't have been saying to you 2 years ago going on it. It's person, place, importance, whatever. No, it's full of 15-year-old girls dancing around. It's not me. And it was her target demographic even then. And I was like, you should be doing this. She got on it, I think now 10 months ago.
Yeah.
I think she's up to 100,000 followers. She had 160,000 on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think if she'd have got on it when I said 2 years ago, she'd be into the millions now. And
you start getting paid for it as well, don't you?
Money and stuff like that. So what I'm looping around to here is getting advice from the right people. We get a lot of people asking us a lot of questions, and I go, you can do that. It's back to the sandwich board thing. Of course you can do that, but don't spread yourself too thin. At the minute, if you were going to do one social, I'd probably say TikTok at the moment. 12 months ago, that might have been Instagram or LinkedIn, depending on your business. The other one that always looms in the background is Facebook groups, especially for local businesses. Yeah. So we know, familiar with Culture Members in Chat. Culture Members in Chat for us as a business has generated over 6 figures in revenue, probably 70 clients.
Yeah.
I'm not the Culture Farms. The Culture Farms could probably fill their pub most days just through Culture Members in Chat.
Yeah.
As a local chat, if you're listening outside of Culture, if that's just our local Facebook group. Yeah. But round here, Lim has a chat, Grapnell has a chat, Goulburn has a chat, Lowton has a chat, Warrington has a chat. Everywhere has a Facebook group. This is back to who is your target demographic. I could go everyone. So I'm going to ignore Culture Members in Chat because it's too localized. There's only 8,000 people in there. How many are going to own a business? Well, it's enough. The answer is enough of them own a business, working in a business for me to do it.
And it's free.
But it's time. So this is the time argument they always bring into, is that as a small business, usually if you're paying money, you've got to be saving yourself time.
Yeah.
But if you're then saving yourself time to go and sit and watch Netflix, not sure that's the best trade-off if you really want your business to work.
Yeah.
If you've got 10 grand in your bank and you're starting your business, you can pay this money out to skip the queue and to do more. But most of the businesses that we work with are starting, they don't have any money and they want to make money fast.
Yeah.
So you've got to spend with people like me wisely. You know, if you were going to build a website that maybe we might charge you 500 quid, 750 quid, £1,000, 1,500 quid. Yeah. Our website's at the minute between 500 and 10 grand. But for a small business, it's definitely on that lower level.
Yeah.
We might build that in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Or you might sit for 2 months in Wix or Squarespace trying to build it every night and not really getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So paying us 750 quid might save you 100 hours. So is that worth it? Could you have been doing something better with your time? If you can build websites or you've got a bit of graphic design, do it. Don't pay us to do it. You do it. Come to us in 2 years' time once you want to upgrade that website and you're too busy because you've got a million orders and you can't deal with it.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is the thing that people don't waste time when it's free stuff. Do important stuff. Don't procrastinate. If I say get on TikTok, don't sit for 6 hours just scrolling your own TikTok. Do you know, get into business TikTok and interact with people and do stuff. If it's spending money, it's about saving time and spending. We see loads of people chucking money. You know, just SEO is a big one that comes up. So SEO is search engine optimization, getting to the top of Google. So many people come to me, they spent 300 quid on this, 500 quid on this. They just don't even know what they're spending money on.
Yeah.
So and it's difficult because you don't know what you don't know, not to waste money, but just be careful with your time and be careful with your money, especially if you've not got much of it when you're starting a business. Do you know?
Should, like, say, come to you guys or someone like you guys to give that advice initially and save.
And it doesn't cost money. Do you know, often the best bits of advice we give are the free advice that save you money, but people still won't listen. We always laugh with business rates. This is completely different to marketing, but business rates is something that if you own a commercial property, you pay business rates. We'll have had over the years with Morgan Williams, I can probably go 15, 20 people do this. They come to us for advice. Doesn't cost them a penny. We say, don't touch it. Do not go there. It's fine. Cost them nothing. 6 months later, we get a phone call going, I had a guy ring me about business rates and he said I should appeal my business rates and I've done it and now it's costing me more money. What's going on here? I said 6 months ago, I told you not to do anything and it didn't cost you a penny. You had some random guy phone you on a random day, say you can save you money, and it's actually cost you $2,000. Yeah. You came to us, who you trust, and we said do nothing, and a guy on the phone has cost you $2,000.
Yeah.
This happens over and over and over again, and it's because I think as a business you're a bit flustered, you've got a lot going on. Do you know, somebody says they can save you money, and I think it comes down to that old adage: if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If somebody comes to you and goes, I can do your SEO, I can get you to the top of Google, and it's 250 quid a month, and then after 6 months you're still not showing on Google, you've got to be some part of your head going, maybe this is. Callum said to me, don't bother with SEO just yet, and he could have charged us 500 quid a month to look at it, but he said don't, and now I've done it. And again, this is difficult because I'm saying don't always trust me, because I don't know everything. Do you know, I know a lot about what I know about, but I don't know everything. And you've got to do your business. But speak to me, speak to you, speak to other mates. Don't speak to mates that don't have businesses as well. That would be my other advice is everyone that doesn't have a business thinks they know how they would do everything better. How many times you'll have walked into your pub, oh, Dave, you should be doing this, should be doing that, should be. And it is, to be honest, as a business owner, I think that's and I did it before I owned a business. Do you know, I'm not saying that I wasn't in that camp. Do you know, oh, you could be doing this and you could be doing that. And as a business owner, you know that you've just got so much stuff going on. Speak to other business owners because they will do stuff that saves you money and time and effort. I'm trying to think of examples of bits of advice that I've had. Software I had. Do you know, I've got accountancy software. I've got a thing that I take a picture of my receipt and it goes straight into my software. I use VAs. That's another thing that we use a lot of. So virtual assistants. So I have a lady that does my books. It costs me, across 3 businesses, I think it costs me about 65 quid a week. She does 3 businesses. And I know pals that would have had businesses of the same level paying somebody 2 days a week, 10K a year.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Do you know? And it's like, what? I'm paying about 4K a year. Do you know, for what you paid 10K?
Exactly, because there's a big, I think Philippines is quite a big.
Yeah, so mine are all UK based, but for different, to me, it depends on the level of task. So my rule of thumb is if it involves data and information, I don't like sending it out of the UK.
Yeah,
I probably could. I just don't like it. Do you know? So if it involves customer data, especially, but my data, my accounts has got all my customers in. I like to keep that in the UK. That's my view on things. If it's stuff that includes no data, so social media posts, videos, video editing, websites is a difficult one because a lot of people will have data sat within their website. So if you have somebody come and edit your website, they probably have got access to your data. Yeah. So I'm always a bit careful around that. But research, so we get people, we've done loads of work in schools recently. Yeah. We work with about 40 schools doing virtual tours, videos and bits over COVID. Mm-hmm. Student accommodation providers, house builders, that kind of thing. So I got to go and give me a load of student accommodation providers and it cost me about 50 quid. Yeah. I would get a VA to give me a load of schools. And all they're doing is doing the job that I would have done, which is go to the website, get the telephone number, get their email address, and then get in touch with them. Well, I pay a VA. I don't know where they were, Philippines, Bangladesh, India, that it will be there. Good English speaking, like as fluent as you could ever want.
Well, they speak better English than I do.
Yeah, well, that's not hard. So, and it's tasks like that. So it's repetitive because their average wage is 2 or 3 quid an hour, whereas here it's 8-9 quid an hour. So you're a quarter cheaper. I've got pals that have businesses that it's a one-man band, 1 employed member of staff, and like 15 VAs. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that model. But this is about outsourcing tasks that, as a business owner, so I have, at the minute, I've got somebody that helps me a little bit with my own social because I'm a bit crap.
Yeah.
I've got somebody that helps me with my emails, filing them away and sorting out my emails and dealing with stuff. I've got somebody that rings back leads for me when they've gone a bit cold, just to see if we can liven them up a bit. And I've got a lady that sorts my accounts.
Yeah.
In total, them 4 people cost me about 500 quid a month.
Yeah.
Historically, I'd have probably had 2 or 3 members of staff doing all them jobs.
Yeah.
It would have cost me 40 grand a year.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and they're also fab. They're all running their own little business as well. So they're all self-employed freelancers to me. But when you're starting out, and I wouldn't have done this on day one because I did all my own accounts. Until 18 months ago, I did everything. I did all the billing, all the receipts.
Yeah, yeah.
I still pay all the bills because I'm a bit of a protectionist over that any businesses that I've seen that have gone tits up have been through the person who has access to the accounts, and the money tends to be the one that's nicking. So I'm a bit wobbly about giving access to that. It's still only me that pays the money. But aside from that, I try and get rid of tasks because my VA can't sit with you and do this conversation. My VA can't sit and do the initial sales call. My VA can't give the advice over a Facebook that I give. And also, not necessarily any of my staff can. That's the bit that I enjoy as a business owner. So that's the bit that I do. I don't enjoy posting on social. I don't enjoy building websites. I don't enjoy graphic design. They go, Callum, that's your business. I go, that's not what I enjoy. I enjoy growing people's businesses, talking about business. So that's what I'm going to do because that's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And then when you need a web developer, you're going to pay me 750 quid and I'm going to organize it all. And Chris, my web developer, is going to build it, or Dan, or Paddy's going to do it. And that's how we, and when they're mothering me about the website, I go, ask Chris.
Yeah.
I was like, because I don't know the answer. How do I fix this? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But that to me is the bottom line. As you're growing your business, the other thing that I said to somebody the other day was, how big do you want to be? I've got in my head that I want to be 40, 50 staff for Morgan Branding, 2-3 million pound turnover. That's a little goal in my head where I want to get to. If you want to do 50k a year and just be you, that's fine. No issue with that. But set your goals and your plans and your things accordingly, because you probably don't need VAs, fancy accounting software. We've got Slack to talk to team. We've got project planning software. You don't need all that. Yeah. You can just muddle through and hopefully get to the point where you can do 30 hours a week and earn 50k a year and be happy. But if you want a £1 million business or a £10 million business or a £100 million business, set your goals accordingly. And I do think that, so I suppose 2 things there is to say, who's your target audience and what's your plan? Most people have no plan and no idea who the target audience is. I think these are quite important things to get in your head, because again, even for us, what's your budget? If your plan is to be doing 100k revenue this year, but you've got £0 in the bank right now and no business, you're not going to do it. In my opinion, you're not going to do it unless you've got some thing that, if you're setting up a candle business from scratch with £0 and you've never done it before, 10k, 15k might be a really good year. Probably is. I think being realistic with them kind of figure. Morgan Branding, when we started out 4 years ago, my lowest point, we were about minus 35k. And we don't have any, my cost is staff time. In theory, you pay me 100 quid, I pay my staff 50 quid, I have a bit of costs and make a bit of profit. But we had computers a bit, but we've not got stock or anything. And we were minus 35k.
Wow.
So
that's what it costs. I mean, certainly when I took over my business, when I took over Courtyard, because I didn't set Courtyard up initially. It was I acquired Courtyard a few years back, but for the first couple of years, I didn't
make any money.
I didn't make any money at it in the first couple of
years. Still now, we're making money now, but I don't take any money. I don't take money in a traditional salary way where I get £2,000 paid into my bank every so often. Yeah. I'm paying a bit into my pension, a bit boring. I live cheaply, freely, because there's a part of my head that goes, so when I'm buying for my business, my head is in a different place. When I need a new PC or I need a fancy microphone or whatever, I buy it. When it's like a new TV, I'm like, 500 quid. I'm going to have to build £2,000 to make 500 quid. I just leave it in my business, So, but and I think this comes to where you grow into, is that if you want to grow to £1 million business, you need to pump every penny back in.
Yeah.
If you want to make 40K a year and have a lifestyle style of business, absolutely fine. Take £2,000 out each month, leave a bit of money in the pot, keep going, have a week off, and maybe that's just about being realistic with yourself and honest with yourself. Is don't say you want the £1 million business. Maybe that thing is like champagne lifestyle on a, whatever this lemonade budget is, to go, don't say you want £1 million business if really you're only going to put in the effort for the £50,000 business. Just be honest, do the £50,000 business and do it really well, because there's also nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people in this country that have their own business that earn 50K a year.
Great little businesses.
Plumbers, electricians, hairdressers. That is a business that makes 50K a year and they're happy. Yeah. I think the difficulty is everyone comes in and goes, right, I'm going to be a hairdresser now, but I'm going to have my own salon. I'm going to have a chain of salons, franchise, sell hair products online. And in chasing that little goal, they don't work hard enough and they lose the thing that worked in the first place. I think that's it's difficult, because I know I fliff-flaff and do the same things. Yeah. But if I want to make the most money, I just sit and work on Morgan branding all day, every day. So, that's where...
Sorry, I was gonna say then, because I'm
conscious of time
here. It's going on. So a quick fire one for you. Based on your experience, what is the best bit of advice you could give to a small company starting out? And I know we've covered all this. I'm going to try to recap it quickly. What would be the best bit of advice you could give somebody starting out on what to do and to look forward, and how they're going to get to where they are? What's the best bit of advice you give to a small?
So I'd say be realistic. Yeah. What problem are you solving? Who's out there doing the same thing already, and what are you doing better than them? Who's your target audience? Yeah. And then dive in. That's what I would say, is that if you're not doing something better than somebody else, if you're not solving a problem, if you just come up with an idea and there's no real problem solve, waste of time. Who are you selling it to? Your idea is worth nothing. It's all in your execution. So when you do really well and you make a load of money, well done. That was you, not your idea.
That's right.
And go from there. That would be my small summation.
And call you
when you've got money. No. Grab me in the pub for the best free advice. If you see me in the pub, golf course, because I will chat all day, every day, and not charge you a penny.
Yeah. Absolute gold on this, mate. When you listen back through this, some of the tips and the talks we've mentioned, and some of it's been generic, some of it's been topic related, which I know, but I do think that people can get a good sense. I mean, we started this and it was about kind of you guys, and it's ended up turning into like an advice thing, to be fair, when we've gone over some of the stuff. And I honestly think that we should recap on this again, and I think we should do another one and maybe recap again in a month or so.
It may work. I just thrown out an idea, but people are welcome to ask a question, and we'll try and do it. Yeah. I sometimes think, you said we drifted from talking about us, but that's because us are boring. We know what we do. Do you know, I like giving examples of who we work on, because also I think it's easier to look at other businesses than it is your own. Yeah. So as we said, the idea of you going into the pub, somebody will give you 50 ideas. You're like, sod off, leave me alone. I just want to have a pint. Do you know? But it is sometimes easier when you're sat at home going, I don't know what to do for my candle business. Is think about a property business. What would you do in that situation? And then bring it back to your candle business, and how can you grow that? So it is tough. And that's why the little bit of advice was to talk to people, but talk to historically you'd have talked to accountants and solicitors. I don't advise like that anymore. Do you know, there are some accountants that are very good, but my dad would have had his advice from accountants and solicitors. I say, go to other business owners, go to the person that's where you want to be. Sometimes they'll slam the door in your face and they'll go, I'm not telling you all my secrets. Fine. More fool them. I go, they're idiots.
Well, no, I find actually you asking people...
they help. Some shut the door in your face though. And do you know what I do? I'd put a little note down on my pad, shut door in face, crush them. Do you know, it is that, and it gives me that fight. And I have got businesses, and my mates I wouldn't say personally, that have shut doors in face, that have not offered to help. And I think, you stupid, I am going to beat you. So, you know, that gets the competitive side of me out. But if you don't ask, you can't get shot in the face, you know. So ask. Most will say yes, and they will help, and they'll become. A lot of my friends in business have exactly the same job as me. They run the same businesses. We have another business in Warrington called Code and Create. They do the same as us. I chat to the two owners of that business most days.
Yeah.
We're competitors. We chat most days.
Yeah.
We don't see it that way. We see it as we're helping each other get by. So yeah,
it is. It's important to have these. But yeah, let's catch up on this on the next call. Like I said, it's been going on now for over an hour, this, and I don't want people to lose track of where we're at. So I am going to wrap you in, mate, because I know you've got all day. But yeah, thanks for coming on.
Cheers.
Really,
Dave, no, I appreciate
it. And hopefully someone's got some information, a bit of gold out of this that they can take forward and yeah, maybe contact you. But thanks very, very much, mate, for sorting this out. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and look forward to recording the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.